Hello, my name is Isabella Webb, and this is my third assignment. And today I'm going to be answering all of the questions regarding the low crime country that I have chosen. Let's get started. The country that I have chosen to talk about today is Germany. Now, I'm going to tell you guys why I chose Germany, not just because it was one of the options, but because I'm really interested and intrigued on just Germany's history. They've gone through many wars and been the target of many wars, rightfully so. But after every single time, they have rebuilt and they have become better. And I just think that that's really beautiful. Not obviously after World War I, because after World War I was World War II, and we hate World War II. But I'm talking about after World War II. Their entire country was completely divided, quite literally. And somehow, some way, they found their ways to become one of the most progressive states in our world. So I have the flag to show you all what their country's flag is, and then I have some of their architecture because it is, of course, only there, and I think that that's beautiful. So let's get started with question number 1. Question 1. What did you find in your research on this low crime country about how social control mechanisms work to prevent crime? What did you learn about social control mechanisms in your low crime country that may be harmful, outmoded, or even no longer functioning as intended? Well, first we have to talk about what is social control. Social control, according to Oxford biographies, is the study of mechanisms in the form of patterns of pressure through which society maintains social order and cohesion. In other words, social control is what societies use to keep order and cohesion within that society. The mechanisms of social control are the tools and the concepts that are used to keep up that control and cohesion. So the reasons why Germany has low crime is because they take a completely different stance than a lot of other nations. In Germany, criminality or criminal behavior is not necessarily inherent in man, either biologically or otherwise. This comes from a journal article that I read titled Reasons for the Low Crime Rate in the German Democratic Republic, or the GDR. I think that this specific quote is very telling because, as we see in our own country, we treat criminals like the criminals that we label them to be. And as we see with Germany, they don't label them really as criminals and they don't believe that they're evil. Now, of course, there are individuals that come about who are evil. I am 100% sure that they label Hitler as evil. But they believe that not everyone is evil. And when you're born, you're not necessarily evil either. And that's really important. The fact that they base their stance on criminality from this, it essentially means that they approach crime and criminals in a completely different way than us. In America, we typically assume the worst, and we treat criminals as such. In Germany, they believe in the idea that even if a person commits a crime, it does not make them and label them as a criminal. That's key. Redemption is the focus for Germans. That's key as well. Instilling values, giving hope. They treat their criminals like any other citizen. That is what Germany stands for. When you are in prison in Germany, you are treated as a person like the person that you are. And you are swarmed by optimism and positivity, and you are given the means to eventually be out. So when you're out of prison, you have a future set up for you. I have seen nothing in recent days in terms of social control mechanisms in this country that are outdated. Now, in terms of the FDR, which came before the GDR, which the GDR is now, it involved the complete opposite. The FDR is sort of like how America was, but it was even worse. I would equate it to about Russia and the gulags and how they treat their criminals in the gulags. And if you know anything about that, it doesn't seem fun. And they have a high crime repeat rate as well. Let's move on to question number 2. Question 2. People in the US work in factories, live in family groups, go to church, and join youth groups. Why do these institutions not function effectively as forms of social control to keep crime rates low? In my opinion, it's not about the institutions from above. Germany has all of those too. Factories, family groups, church, youth groups, all of them. If anything, some of them can be more committed than religion than us. It is about how we treat our prison criminals in and out of prisons. Societies treat their criminals like the people that society labels them as. Our society labels criminals as dangerous, unintelligent, and often evil. So naturally, we do not treat them like citizens. As we learned from the documentary The 13th Amendment states that slavery is illegal unless you are a criminal. This directly enables the treatment of criminals to be like slaves. And as we see in our country now, it is. Over 70% of prisoners are rearrested in the United States. This is because of the way that we treat them. Germans give their prisoners hope. We give them despair. Can you imagine being thrown negative comments at you every single day, being told that you are worth nothing, being told that you will never be successful, and then not giving or not getting the means to be successful when you are released? Can you imagine to what extent of the effect that has on you? It can be detrimental to one's mental health. Let's go to question number 3. How could community or government decision makers use the information presented by this study to help solve crime problems in the United States? Simple answer. Treat citizens like the citizens that they are. This means at every level. Every level, meaning governmental officials, all the way down to policemen and the guardmen, and even us, because even we label criminals as not capable of redemption. Right here, I have the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be treated. In addition, it's not on this slide, we need to give them the means to be successful. And we don't do that. Like I said, they are living in a negative environment. I often say that you are what is around you. If you live in that negative environment, and like I said, you're being told every day that you are nothing, you are worth nothing, you are never going to be successful, you are evil, you're an awful person, and then you don't give them the means to be successful when you get out, meaning you don't give them any opportunities to grow, how do you expect them to grow? In Germany, prisoners are surrounded by positivity, by optimism. And they have programs. They go through programs according to the journal article that I have already noted. They have programs that are directly linked to the prisons, that are directly linked to outside jobs, so that when they get out, they can succeed. Next and final question. Most of the low crime countries featured here are very homogeneous in terms of race, ethnicity, and religion. How might the heterogeneity of the United States impact our ability to lean on social control mechanisms to reduce crime? Well, in my opinion, it's not that we do not lean on social control mechanisms, because we definitely do. We just lean on the wrong ones. The heterogeneity of the United States is what makes us beautiful. But what we teach our children is not what is needed to achieve true unity. Germans are required to learn about all of their history, all of the bad, all of the awful things that they have done. They are learning about it. Our country is consistently trying to erase our history from the curriculum. Examples of this can be seen in Texas, where you're not allowed to talk about race anymore. You're not allowed to talk about slavery. You're not allowed to talk about the genocide of the Native Americans. And in Florida, we have the Don't Say Gay bill now that is taking into effect, where you can't talk about sexuality. America is avoiding, our curriculum is avoiding to talk about these topics, which means that we have to teach ourselves. We have to learn from other sources. And as we all know, these sources could be and are compromised. Even if we're just getting information from our parents, they're compromised, they're biased, they're privy to their own beliefs, just like Fox News, just like CNN, just like Twitter, just like TikTok. It's all biased. So because we're not learning about this from the curriculum in a non-objective way, we are learning it in an objective way. And that's not okay. In addition to treating our prisoners like true citizens, education needs to change so that the future of a better nation is guaranteed. I am the one to say that education is the answer to everything, and I truly believe that it is. This is my works cited. I hope you all enjoyed answering the 4 questions about the lovely country of Germany. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And yeah, have a great day, y'all.